What's up, Poppies? So, in honor of the NFL 100 coming out very, very soon, it's at the end of the month. I'm just really looking forward to just ripping to shreds where they put Harrison Smith and Danielle Hunter. Anyway, we decided to do a top 10 Minnesota Vikings heading into the 2020 season. Now, top 10, it's going to be a little bit different because in terms of replacement, in terms of value to the team, so it's completely subjective, a la what happens with the NFL MVP award, or what does value mean? Value in terms of above your replacement, value in terms of your higher place in the hierarchy in the grand scheme of things on the team, at your position, across the league. All that factors in. So I will say this is a very imperfect list. You're probably going to disagree with some of the placements, but we'll talk through our thought process as we go through the top 10. So numero 10, right off the bat, Anthony Barr, right? Anthony Barr gets a lot of hate amongst his fan base just because he doesn't stuff the stat box, just because Zimmer uses him improperly, just because he's occasionally caught out of position in coverage when he has to pick up slack when Zimmer gets out schemed, all of those things, right? But I still remember, like, at the 11th hour when he came back from the Jets, when he decided to re-sign with the Vikings here, and everyone's kind of like, but in terms of replacing him at that strong side linebacker spot, Eric Wilson, great linebacker. He does good things at the weak side spot. He's not replacing him on the strong side. Plus, there wasn't a guy on the roster that's ready to replace Anthony Barr, what his role is on this defense. So the Vikings would have either had to gone up to get Devin White or Devin Bush in the 2019 draft, or change the defense altogether. So I think Anthony Barr does have a lot of value. That's why he makes the top 10 here. Next up, so a guy who's not even played it down for the Vikings yet, but Michael Pierce. Yeah, Michael Pierce, I'm fired up for this guy, right? So I love Linval Joseph. I think the Vikings easily got the best years out of his career here, even though he did win a ring with the Giants, which is, right. But Linval was peak a couple years ago. Sun hat set. Michael Pierce is just coming into his own. This is his second contract, first big one, coming off his rookie deal. And coming over from Baltimore, this is a guy who is a true blue 3-4 nose tackle. Hence, maybe the Vikings are going to move towards maybe more of a multiple front, but he's going to absorb bodies. He's a true two-gap player, and also he can get after in the pass rush game, which is why a lot like Linval early on here with the Vikings, I think you'll see him on the field a lot more in passing situations, a lot more on third down than you would expect, because he can do it. He can do great things. So I love Michael Pierce. Next up, Anthony Harris. Now, you may say that this is a little low. I would be inclined to agree with you, but also I made the list, so I don't really have room to talk. Now, Anthony Harris is the best free safety in the game. Also, just talking about in terms of replaceability, if you take Anthony Harris off the field, who's going to step in? Is it Metellus? Probably not. Is it Brian Cole? Probably not. Would you have to go all the way down the list? Maybe get a Chris Boyd or Harrison Hand, the rookie cornerback, potentially safety out of Temple? Could, but yeah, Harris is the true ball hawk that the Vikings haven't really had in that secondary opposite Harrison Smith for his entire duration, ever since Harrison Smith got here in 2012. Because Jamarcus Sanford, no. Andrew Sendejo, no. And then Harris has been that dude. Who's? Pride of Virginia. Let's go. Next up, number 7, top 10 Vikings of 2020, Dalvin freaking Cook. That's right. And yeah, we talked about replaceability in terms of Gary Kubiak's running backs turning 1,000-yard nobodies into 1,000-yard rushers, as well as Alexander Madison is revved up, ready to go. Would be a stud. He would be an absolute stud if he had to step in for Dalvin Cook due to holdout or alien abduction, anything like that. But Dalvin, when he's on his game, when he's healthy, is a top 3 running back in the league. You can put him up there with McCaffrey as well as Zeke. Saquon in there. I think you have your top 4, your Mount Rushmore right there of running backs in the league. But Dalvin, man, in terms of perfect scheme for him, outside zone, putting his foot in the dirt and then going, finding cutback lanes as well as dynamic receiver, it is Dalvin Cook. It absolutely is. And yeah, he is lower on this list because we do factor in his replacement. What would happen if he was abducted from this team? So it's a very convoluted and very proprietary equation that we don't even know what's going on. All right, next up, Brian ONeill. Woo! For our money, Brian ONeill is becoming one of the best young right tackles in the league. I think he takes a massive leap in year 3. And also, I mean, when he came in 2 years ago out of Pitt, a lot of people thought, myself included, All right, benefit from a redshirt year. Sit his ass down, fatten his ass up, get him some juicy Lucy's, some Bluesies, as well as some tater tot hot dish. Put on some size on those hocks, on the haunches. But he surprised. As a rookie, he was solid. Second year, he was damn good. Year three, I think he takes a Ryan Ramczyk like jump in his junior season here in the NFL. And then all of a sudden, he's that guy. He's going to be up there with the Ramczyks, with the Lane Johnsons, with the Orlando Browns of the world in terms of being a great right tackle. So he's up there high. Also in terms of replacement, you go to Rashad Hill. You go to Blake Brandel. Go to Oli Udoh. I'd be intrigued there. Actually, maybe I should put Brian O'Neill down if the plan was to really replace him with Oli Udoh. But yeah. Next up, numero 5, halfway there, living on a prayer. Adam, Jerome, Ezekiel, Thielen. Now, you could say that this is a little bit low, just in terms of replacement value. What, you replace him with BC or Tajay Sharp, sure. But yeah, I think Thielen comes back in. The pride of Detroit Lakes, Mankato State University Community College. That's right, face. Also, if you don't get the bit, you should probably get the bit. Anyways, Adam Thielen still is one of the best receivers in the league. He's going to get the lion's share of the targets. Actually, it wouldn't shock me if Adam Thielen out-targets Michael Thomas this year in terms of percentage of overall throws, because I think New Orleans is going to throw a lot more than the Vikings will this year. But overall percentage of targets, could be Adam Thielen. He's going to be an absolute monster this year. Also, big redemption. He's got that huge chip on his shoulder for he doesn't want to go out the way that 2019 went down. So I love Adam Thielen. Next up, controversy. Danielle Hunter. Now, if we were doing this list just in terms of caliber of player and not factoring in value over replacement, Danielle would be clearly number 1, right? But Danielle Hunter, if alien abduction came in, you knock on all the wood, shoot down all the aliens, Space Invader style, if they're coming for Danielle. I think the Vikings pass rush would certainly take a step back, but I think they would adapt and be okay because you got James Lynch, because you got DJ Wanham, because Fadi would step up into the premier edge rusher role. So actually, as I say that out loud, I mean, I like all of them, but they're not Danielle Hunter. So maybe Hunter's a little bit low. But also, the massive disrespect you see in the national media from all the lists, from all the rankings, where Danielle Hunter is barely makes the PFF top 50 at number 50, as well as he's ranked as like the 8th, 9th, 10th best edge rusher in the league. Just massive, horrific disrespect, which is completely uncalled for. Respect is like he's going to be rated the 5th, 6th, 7th best edge rusher year after year after year until in 12 years from now he breaks the sack record that everyone's like, what? Here, I'm the national media. What? It's so stupid. It absolutely is. Next up, number 3, top 10 Vikings heading into 2020, Erik friggin' Kendricks. You can make a good case, and we have that Erik Kendricks is the best off-ball linebacker in the league right now. Absolutely. Bobby Wagner, that sun is setting. Luke Kuechly, he gone. You could say maybe Levante David for sure. Darius Leonard, yeah, respect. Fred Warner's working his way up there, sure. But Erik Kendricks last year, I mean, speaking of taking a leap, like, dude just flipped a switch. He's the best coverage linebacker in the league by far. He's still a heat-seeking missile in the run game, as well as I think he will benefit from getting a younger, upgraded version at nose tackle in terms of Michael Pierce, where he's just going to be able to freely scrape wherever he needs to go. 98 is going to be just absorbing bodies in front of him. So I'm really pumped up, and I'm glad that Erik Kendricks is finally starting to get some of the national respect that he deserves as well. Next up, number 2, available Vikings in 2010. Sorry, 2020. There you go. Well, 2010, who would be available? I guess Favre. Number 2, so Harrison Smith. Now, I get it. Harrison's a little bit longer in the tooth, but what he does on that Zimmer defense, he goes wherever Zimmer needs him to go. He's also able to freelance beautifully, and there's so many good things that Harrison Smith does that just does not show up in the stat box, and that's what makes him so valuable. He is the straw that stirs the drink on that defense, and if the Vikings took Harrison Smith off the field, they'd be a little listless. They would be. Where, I mean, who do you replace Harrison Smith with? Josh Metellus? Sure. Brian Cole. I think Brian Cole would be a better replacement. But overall, like, no one can... Harrison Smith, for my money, is still the best, most complete all-around safety in the league. He's great down the box. He's great in coverage as a free safety. He can do all those things. So all that combined leads to his high value. So Harrison Smith is number 2. And yeah, we've gotten that far. We're doing this. Yeah. So number 1, most valuable Viking in 2020, Kirk Jerome, Ezekiel Cousins. Now, if you were going to tell me 2 years ago, 2018, Kirk Cousins signs that 3-year, $84 million fully guaranteed deal, that I would rank him as the number 1 Viking heading into 2020, 2 years down the road, I would have called you a liar. I would have slapped you, and then I would have turned you into the FBI, CIA for being a time traveler. Actually, no, I'm not a snitch. Just slapping. Anyways, but yeah, Kirk Cousins last year, we saw in spurts that he played at MVP caliber level, as well as he was a big reason why the Vikings got that road wildcard win in the playoffs against the Saints. And Kirk, as we've seen, he's going to be in the same system, which he greatly benefits from having consistency. Like, he's very OCD. He needs routine. He needs everything to be on time, and that's what Kirk Cousins is. And he's shown time and time again he is one of the best deep ball quarterbacks in the league. Now, without Diggs, could that change? Certainly, but if he plays safe, efficient, good Kirk football, if he keeps reading his national press clippings, stays angry Kirk, I think that he certainly does have a chance to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFC, in the NFL, potentially in the MVP race. And if the Vikings are going to make the leap, if they are going to make an NFC title game, if they are going to make the Super Bowl, if they are going to hoist that Jerome Barty at the end of the season, it will be because Kirk Cousins elevated his game. And also, we're factoring in here the drop-off from Cousins to Sean Mannion, right? Because say the Vikings are 11-5 with Kirk Cousins. If they had Sean Mannion in, alien abduction on Kirk, they're what, 4-12? So that's 7 games? 7 games, wins above replacement? Yeah. No. Remember, we made up our own stat. Wins above replacement is WAR. Wins above average is WAA. Wins above Mannion. Wham! What is your wham? Kirk Cousins' wham is 7. That is all. All right, so your thoughts. Our top 10 Vikings heading into 2020. Where did we get it wrong? Probably lots of spots. Where do we get it right? What suggestions do you have? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Pull us on the Venmo. But until next time, Skull, production value.